What's up, everybody? Thanks for being with us. It is the Friday NFL Yahoo preview. I just like to give this show a different name every single time that we do it. I'm Adam Kaufman. Eric Lindquist is along for the ride. Really, he's the one who's, we always say the navigator when, you're out there, you're driving with, your significant other, your buddy, whatever. It's one thing to drive. I guess you have a little bit more power, a little bit more control, but it's all about the navigator. The navigator tells you where you're going. It's about that person sitting shotgun. And you, my friend, you're the one sitting shotgun telling us which way we're going throughout this thing to make sure that we get there safely by the end.
Well, I mean, I don't know how to fly a plane. I don't know how to, I've driven.
I like to think of you as my co-pilot for this
hard
show,
thing, but yeah, no. So we're going to just try to keep this thing in the air as long as possible. I hate landings, but we're going to, as you can tell, probably with my impeccable timing and ridiculousness, at least, hey, we have two goals today. One, we need to annoy Tyler with as many 90s songs as humanly possible. So that's between you and me. We did Jock Jams. I think this week we need a borderline, figure out some other way to watch him melt in his seat over there.
Just be all boy band music.
Oh, I'm so here. It's tearing up my heart when I'm with you. How's that, Tyler?
We'll take it step by step. We're going to hang tough.
Day by day. That's 90s. That's another 90s pop culture reference, though. Tyler didn't get that one either.
That's true. Are you familiar with Patrick Duffy, Tyler? Do you know Suzanne Summers?
Yeah, Google.
That was a show. Step by Step was part of TGIF.
By step,
day by day. Oh, what a jam! What a jam!
You were meant for me, and I was meant for you, Mr. Kaufman.
Oh, I don't even know where to go from here. I don't want to talk football. I just want to talk all about great shows in the TGIF. Thank God it's Friday lore. What's coming on ABC tonight from 8 to
I don't know, but Saved by the Bell. So
Saved
by the Bell. I've been watching this a lot on Netflix lately. It's kind of like the guilty pleasure late night deal, but I've been dipping
the original
into the
Saved
college
by the Bell?
years. Oh, the original Saved by the Bell. So we're talking middle school, high school, college years.
Of course.
Even when they go on that random vacation to New Hampshire, they're there for a summer doing whatever.
Yeah,
and then the Vegas wedding.
The kids who on Saved by the Bell went to New Hampshire.
Or wherever it was. They go on the freaking Hawaii. They go to Hawaii, whatever. Yeah. In my brain, it's just a blind spot. See, this is why I have you alongside. Keep me in check.
But I didn't know these were all on Netflix. Then they go to Vegas
for the wedding.
Peacock didn't snatch those all up.
What was that?
I didn't know they were on Netflix. I'm surprised
they're on Netflix right now.
Peacock.
I found out 2 weeks ago or something. And again, dip back into the college years, and I have a newfound appreciation for it because it's just true sitcom. They just were you know what? Screw what we're going to be doing with this. There's no hint of anything other than just straight sitcom.
You got Mike Golick's
right kind of
in the college years too.
Mark Golick, is that who?
No, I think it was Bob. It was Bob
Golick. Yep, that's it. Yeah. That's who it is. He plays the TA or whatever. He's back in college at Cal.
Yeah.
Again, how did they get Cal U to sign off on something like that?
Because power of Zach Morris, man. It's all about
Zach Morris is trash.
They just wanted.
Have you seen that on Hulu?
Oh, of course. We occasionally get a Zach Morris's trash YouTube username, as a matter of fact. You know what I haven't watched is the new one on Peacock, though, the reboot that a lot of them came back for.
I saw them shooting it. So I was playing golf, I don't know, during the pandemic. And they were kind of they were setting everything up by this golf course. And I was this does not look very good. I'm not going to lie.
I heard it's decent. I'm going to check it out.
Is it decent? Okay. Mario Lopez. I'm willing to give it a shot. Just as long as it's got Mario Lopez. It's got to have some of the
Mario
OGs.
Lopez. No. You do it for Elizabeth Berkley. You do it for Tiffany Amber Thiessen. He wasn't part of it, but you honor Dustin Diamond because it's the right thing to do. I know he's gone. All right. Well, so is that conversation. Let's get into a little bit of football. If anybody does want to chime in on all things Saturday morning great television shows, let us not forget when the crew went to the beach. There was that summer segue with what was it, Leah Rami, the one from King of Queens.
The one who was the Scientology lady.
Part of that as well. All right, if you don't know, now you know. We have partnered with Yahoo Fantasy this NFL season, bringing you obviously some great offers. I've totally thrown Tyler off. So do I put up the graphic? Are we talking about this, or are we going to go back
to it?
ridiculous television talk. No, it's true. Check out our exclusive limited time offer. Gets you 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. To qualify, you need to be new to Yahoo. That is the important caveat here. You got to be new to Yahoo. Sign up for an account via the link below. Deposit and play. That's it. It is just that simple, folks. Yahoo will send us your name after you play in your first paid contest. We will reach out via email with your coupon. If you need immediate access, email support@awesemo.com. We'll get you all set up. You can also claim a free $10 below, which can be used to enter any NFL Yahoo contest, including Sunday's $1 million baller contest. Make sure you use the DFS tools projections designed specifically for Yahoo to give yourself the best shot at winning big. Just waiting for my wife to walk by and listen to some of the Saved by the Bell chatter and say, "You get paid for this?"
Yeah. I'm standing at the edge of tomorrow.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, that was
that is right for me. Yep.
I wish we could play it. We'd get into, I'd pull it up on YouTube and just blast the volume, but there'd be licensing issues. Tyler's shaking his head like, nope, I'm not going to be here the day that Awesemo gets shut down. That happens. It's not on my watch, folks. That's what Tyler's thinking.
Don't think I'm in pitch. I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't think it's going to recognize my voice. Just a guess. It's more like a dog whistle.
We have an 11-game main slate. Here's a transition. You ready? I'll blend it this way. We got some big dogs on the slate on Sunday, my man. 11-game Sunday main slate. So Titans, Rams, Bears, Steelers, prime time. Not part of the conversation today. Of course, Lions, Seahawks, Bucks, Washington, buys. Not part of the conversation today. Colts and Jets, they played last night in what was just a fascinating game for a number of reasons, but again, they're not part of the Sunday main slate convo either. Just any quick thoughts though on that game, the 15-point win for Indianapolis, 75 points in that. I said yesterday, we were talking about it. It was me and
they were so memorable that you couldn't.
No, Greg and I, Greg and I were talking about it. We were looking at everything, and I said, I definitely take the over in this game. The over was something like, I don't know, 45 points or somewhere in that region anyway. 75 points in this game. It was outrageous. And of course, while Jonathan Taylor goes off and does Jonathan Taylor things and has 200 total yards and 2 touchdowns, my guy, Michael Carter, nothing.
Yeah.
Total disappointment. Well, didn't even hit 10 fantasy points for me.
That's what happens when you go from a quarterback who wants to dump off to Jamison Crowder to Michael Carter to a guy who actually was throwing the ball downfield. It became Elijah Moore season real quick. That was kind of a fascinating change. I think if you play that slate out a lot of ways, I think Jamison Crowder and Michael Carter end up being the better plays. But Elijah Moore, obviously had the touchdown with Mike White to begin, so you can't even really trash that as a play or say that he wasn't going to get there anyway or something. He was fantastic. And the Jets just forgot how to tackle for a day. Well, I guess they were 2-5. Now they're 2-6. So maybe they just
they're not particularly good. I don't think tackling and forgetting how to tackling is new to them.
Yeah. It's New York City. It's city guys, CITY. You can see why these guys. There we go.
Oh my God. You just went to that's a deep rabbit hole. That was always in partnership with Saved by the Bell, the college years. Those two were back to back. In fact, I think wasn't there even like a like MCU, like didn't those two shows overlap at one point? Wasn't there
City Guys, and there was the basketball show too. They had the basketball show.
Right,
the guy
City
who's
Guys
now
and
on
Hang
Blackish.
Time had the crossover.
Hang Time.
That's what it was.
Hang Time.
Yeah,
they had the crossover. Hang Time. Hang Time. Man. Standing together, willing to put it on the line. Hang Time. There it is.
You tell we're children of the 90s. CITY. Man. You can see why. Look at you. You're unbelievable.
That was honestly, I'm pretty proud of that poll. That was absurd. That was fun.
Really impressive.
I impressed myself.
Good for you. I don't even know what we were talking about anymore. So
we got to get to the main slate is what we got to do, I think. Right. But last night you bet the over, you won a lot of money, yada, yada, yada. It's I get it. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I know it's too rich to even do this show, but here we are anyway, just because I like hanging out with you. Let's talk about the Sunday main slate. And again, these projections that we tell you all about, and you should really sign up, get that Awesemo Plus, just the weekly pass. If you want to try it out, see what it's like, not even $5 a week, not even $4 for that matter, $3.95 a week to get you all the great tools, projections. And among those projections, obviously it's not just Yahoo, it's other places as well, but gearing in on Yahoo, because that's what we're talking about right now. I'm looking at projections right now. And as far as the quarterbacks go, highest priced and most projected points on the slate among the QBs, you've got none other than one of your favorites, Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. He's got what should be a laugher this weekend. They're favored by like 15 points against Jacksonville, and that's in Jacksonville, no less. He's about 27 projected points from our guy, Alex Baker, Awesemo himself, 26.8, $40. You got to pay up for him. So obviously I want your thoughts on Josh Allen, but I also want to tell you the guys that are in that vicinity. You got Lamar Jackson, who is a slight pay down, very similar projection, 26.8 versus 26.4, $36. So you can save $4. Or, and I know this is going to show up a lot, it's going to be there in the optimal lineup right now. How about Jalen Hurts? Do you trust him? If you trusted him last week, he burned you, but he is projected for 24 plus points, right there in the same, again, neighborhood as Allen, as Jackson, and he is so much cheaper. He is 3/4 the price. 3/4 the price of Josh Allen. He's $30. What's your view of these main, the main trio among the QBs?
Yeah, this trio is fantastic. They're the three who should be, at the highest rostered level that we have them at. 27.6% for Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen 21.6, and Jalen Hurts 17.2 right now. Jalen Hurts gets a complete exemption. They just destroyed Detroit. It became ground and pound. Boston Scott, Jordan Howard. We're talking about Jordan Howard. It's November 5th, 2020 of the 2021, the year of our Lord, 2021. And we're talking Jordan Howard. It's Jalen Hurts. He's going to continue to get there in a multitude of ways. It's just a write-off. Lamar Jackson had a game very similar to that recently as well. I believe it was week 6 there against the Chargers. It was Latavius Murray touchdown, Le'Veon Bell rushing touchdown, Devontae Freeman rushing touchdown. Stuff like that is going to happen against some of these bad teams. And Chargers aren't a bad team, but I mean, they just completely eviscerated them on the ground, and they are definitely susceptible on the ground. We'll get to that later. But I like Lamar Jackson, I think, the most, but so does the field. That's why I'm kind of finding myself with Josh Allen. And I got to say, I always talk about quarterbacks in terms of what you can also get in their stacks. Well, we're not going to have Dawson Knox this week. He's already been ruled out, and we might not get Cole Beasley. I haven't seen the report here today. I was waiting to see if Cole Beasley was on the field for Friday practice. In the event he doesn't practice today, he is a veteran. I'm not going to completely panic, but I will say that it will be on my radar because you might be able to get that stack, that dual stack, a lot cheaper than you'd normally be. So Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders at $17. And then at tight end, you could play Sweeney, who's still, $12. That's manageable. But Gabriel Davis becomes a real contender to be a strong value piece. 5 targets, 4 receptions last time out with a touchdown. If he's going to be on the field for some of the Cole Beasley allotment of volume, I mean, that just becomes a $10 play that lowers that $40 that you're going to be paying for Josh Allen quite a bit. And looking at the top stacks tool, I mean, this is definitely a team that we want to be getting to over on Yahoo. Buffalo, 19.3% top stack potential, the largest on the slate by 9% over the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm going to be watching that Cole Beasley news very intently because I just think it makes it a much easier, more palatable play.
As far as, again, the pay down option of Jalen Hurts, you look at his Yahoo game log over the course of this season, he has had at least 20 points, Eric, in every single game this season, and he's always been in that 20 to 30 range. He hasn't quite hit 30, oftentimes living in the mid-20s. Comes to be an expectation, but then last week, like I said, disappointed big time in that week 8 performance in Detroit. And in a win, no less, it was just all the running backs went absolutely crazy. They put up 44 points. You would think Jalen Hurts would have hurt the competition a little bit. He only had 11 Yahoo points. Do you go back to the well? Do you feel like that was just an anomaly?
Yeah, I think you do. I have no qualms going back to him. You alluded to it, $30. I think he's a phenomenal play. I will say that I do kind of expect between the three, I could see him getting a little bit more steam coming into Sunday, just depending on some of the news. There could be some weird things that kind of happen. It might not be the most prominent news, but every single game on this slate now, once you got rid of Aaron Rodgers out of the Green Bay game, and boy, what an interview. That was fun. But anyway, 50 points.
That was an experience. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was an experience for everybody, regardless of what you think about anything. It's just, 2021 is madness, just like 2020. But here we are, Kansas City Chiefs, 48 total now here in this spot. Every game is now sitting at 50 or lower on the slate. That makes every piece of news regarding somebody, even as simple as Devontae Parker, who's now going to be doubtful, stuff like that ends up being a big deal on these kind of slates because it's very condensed. We don't have to be looking at one game environment is really going to rule them all, one game environment to find them. So I have to kind of be looking more at some Jalen Hurts.
Did we just get a pseudo Lord of the Rings reference right there?
Absolutely, you did.
One game to rule them all.
I use that one more than I'm proud of. I'm not even going to lie to you. I think I may say that once or twice. Tyler is just over us, by the way. I'm not, though. Jalen Hurts, everybody hurts.
For Steven in the chat asking, like, when are Eric and Adam going to host a pop culture show here for Awesemo? Which, of course, like, when do we start? We'd love to. Tyler has made it quite clear he has no interest in producing that program.
I love how Tyler has a lighter on hand. Didn't have to get up from his chair. He just starts right to it. I mean, he's just ready to go.
Is it alarming that he's waving the lighter just while I'm talking? I'm not even singing.
Yeah, no, he is in absolute DGAF mode.
Well, it is midday on a Friday.
It is. Maybe
he's working this week though, or this weekend. Hey, maybe we're not even.
Everybody's working for the weekend. That's 80s, but still. It's fine.
Yeah, just turn it. See, now you're getting back to Tyler's comfort zone because now he's getting into this. Maybe he likes the music and he doesn't like the pop culture stuff. Maybe that's where we're
he's like, if you talk Saved by the Bell, you're dead to me. But if you sing Natalie Imbruglia, we're already torn. It's fine.
Maybe the theme song from California Dreams. That can just be a nice blend of the two. That was a sweet show.
That was so sick. Also, the girls. So we're gonna move on. Midwest kid. I mean, it was just like they can't be real. They can't be real, and they are. They're very real.
I was talking to a friend of just a quick little tangent. A friend of mine, we were talking about like not older TV by any means, but TV that was popular in the 90s, but a little more adult, like the Melrose Places of the world, that type of thing. And
Beverly Hills 90210.
Right. And I'm still in, I guess, mid to late 90s. I'm in high school. So obviously, go back even a little bit earlier. It's middle school and back to elementary school. And I remember the first time I saw that. You remember the show Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Somebody brought this up to me the other day. I remember the first time I saw the TV show Las Vegas, and I didn't know that people were even built that way.
It's like, Molly Sims. Are you talking real? Molly Sims?
These people aren't real. Right? I've never seen people who look like this don't walk around my town. That's not a thing.
South Dakota, I think not. Yeah, Molly Sims, man. SI to Las Vegas, man.
Vanessa Marcil.
Oh, hey, how are we doing?
The former Mrs. Brian Austin Green, just to bring it all together, a little 90210.
Just you did this, and then you did this, and then we shook hands in the middle.
You see, that's what that was. That's what that was. Man, how are people still here watching this? Smash that like if you are. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hit the subscribe button on the Awesemo YouTube page to be notified when, of course, a lot of other great shows go live. I don't know if this one should be lumped in with those at this point. When other shows go live.
Stop it. Every show has its place. I think Yahoo really appreciates the fact that we're able to bring the people together with pop culture.
And also, Yahoo's they're going to get show.
I have my notes here. I'm going to be able to give you some hard-hitting analysis. We're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine.
So your top value at the quarterback position, by all means, if anybody has any questions about specific players, we can dive into that stuff. But your top value shouldn't shock you. Jalen Hurts right there at the top of the list, projected for about 8x. You have, how about Trevor Siemian, huh? Trevor Siemian is on the list right now at almost 8x value. And then Sam Darnold at about 8x as well. Now, we'll see if Darnold ends up playing. We don't know. Could be PJ Walker against the Patriots. But what's your outlook on some of these cheaper value guys?
How are we talking about Trevor Siemian? I mean, how is Taysom Hill? How aren't we? Yeah, I don't know. Jordan Love feels like the conversation piece, but I think on Yahoo it's a little less necessary. I mean, we're talking other sites where he is low. One specifically, it rhymes with schmings, so you can check that out. But on Yahoo specifically, I don't think we have to get too crazy with this. I'm looking at Kirk Cousins at $30 against Baltimore, so this is kind of a strange spot for me. Kirk Cousins is been way better above expectation, and they completely took the ball out of his hands at the end of that first half. And as a Vikings fan, I lost my mind a little bit, but I haven't been on Kirk Cousins a single time this season, but he is PFF's second graded quarterback this season. You know where the targets are going. You know, if you want to throw some Conklin in there just to be exotic, have fun with it. But like, it's Jefferson, it's Adam Thielen. It's very simple how you put this stack together. You also know you're not getting any rushing upside. So at $30, it's a little bit of an overpay compared to the likes of Dak Prescott, who I really do like a lot. Justin Herbert, who I really do like a lot too. But we're talking 0.3% on Yahoo, 0.3% for $30 Kirk Cousins here. It just stands out as a play that I think is just so consolidated for the target share. Mike Zimmer's going to have to go try to win his job back after that Cowboys collapse against Cooper Rush. So I'm expecting, especially in a game that they're expected to trail, Baltimore is going to be running the football a lot in this spot. You know, number one in terms of advanced stats for our game script adjusted rush percentage. That's not going to change anytime soon, but maybe having Latavius Murray out might be a really good improvement as well. We got to be double checking on some of that news, but I do like Kirk Cousins as a very contrarian play this week. So at 0.3%, I think he's my favorite of that $30 range right now at their current level of rostership.
Why don't we take a look at some of the running backs here? And let me see. So you have had it. All right. So Najee Harris, obviously, like we talked about, some of the teams that are playing in prime time that aren't available to you. He would be, under normal circumstances, the best running back that you could play this weekend based on our projections, but he is not available to you, at least as it relates to the Sunday main slate. So you drop down a little bit, you go to the Austin Ecklers of the world, who oftentimes in the great value conversation this week, he's not quite at the top, but that is because maybe people just know what to expect from Austin Eckler now. $30, he is projected for about 17 points against Philadelphia. Again, other side of that Jalen Hurts game. Ezekiel Elliott, don't forget about Zeke, folks. About 17 projected points for him against Denver, $29. And remember, Dak Prescott is expected back in this game. And Alvin Kamara, you were just talking about the Saints. Well, he is, again, projected for right around 16.5, 17 points as well. And he's $33. So you have that $4 range in between these three guys, all projected for about the same number of points. So of that trio, is there one that you like the best?
Yeah, I mean, I love Austin Eckler big time here. I love Alvin Kamara is going to be fascinating. Trevor Siemian, I think, would be a great spot for Alvin Kamara, no doubt about it. It's a rare condition this day and age to be able to find a little bit of value here at the running back position today.
Yeah, he hit you with some family matters. Keep going.
Man, I did. It's really tough to be me today. But Austin Eckler, $30. Tough scene for anybody who doesn't like the 90s. But Alvin Kamara and him really stand out. Nick Chubb kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And then Dalvin Cook, somebody that on our Boom Bust tool, I write a Boom Bust tool article every Friday. It really stands out as a spot where you got to be a little bit shorter on Dalvin Cook. I think that 16% number is a little bit heavy for a guy who's playing right around 70% of the snaps. He's just not right now. And I'm going to be siding a little bit more with the passing attack from the Vikings against Baltimore, trying to keep pace with them in this spot. I doubt they can get a ton going on the ground compared to what that rostership is here at the moment. But Kamara is just kind of immune to game flow here at this point in time. If they're behind, you're going to see some passing volume, and that's really what we want to see, even on a half-point PPR site like Yahoo. But then Austin Eckler, exact same argument and for cheaper. So I think there's a reason. That's basically the reason that you're seeing Eckler come in there with a little bit more rostership. But him and Kamara are going to be a big part of my lineups. They should be a big part of yours. It's really finding some of this other secondary value. And I've got a couple of guys here on the bottom end that look fascinating, but those two are definite priorities. And I'm not really shied away by sub 33 or right around 30% ownership on both of them.
I think I've been pretty good about, 25 minutes into the show at the references that have been thrown out even subtly by you. If I miss any along the way, or heaven forbid I already have, at least let me know. I want to know if any, sail over my head.
I want to know if he really loves me.
I do. I
want to know with every.
Tyler's getting the lighter out again.
See, he's having way more fun on this show than what he was anticipating coming into it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He sees the two of us on the calendar and goes, but you know what? Comfort zone today. He's into it. It. Greg in the chat, who shouted out Kelly Packard before when we talked about California Dreams. Good for you. Says,
good for you, sir. I need to pull up YouTube. Why do I not have it up?
A little buy stream trash when discussing these players, Koff. I don't know that Eric is familiar with my buy stream trash game, but I'm happy to introduce him to it if Greg or anyone else would like to shout out any players. I guess I could have done it with the three we just talked about, but Greg Eric already broke them down. So if anyone, Greg or anyone else, has any players they want to shout out, we can do a little buy stream trash because that's always fun for me for sure. Some of your value running backs here, my man. Let me see. You have got, Devontae Booker at about 9x value. You have Mike Davis, pretty similar to that. And then I believe it's Darrell Williams is coming in at about 7.5x as well. Any of these three that you would be compelled to play this weekend? I mean, it seems like Booker's going to be fairly chalky, but what about the others?
Yeah, Booker makes all the sense in the world. He was the guy I was obsessed with the other day. I didn't think Saquon Barkley was going to play. We had him at 1%. I said that was a mistake, and therefore Devontae Booker is still another guy. I think running back, I'm going to be a little bit chalkier than what I'm going to be at wide receiver. That's just kind of the way that it seems like this slate is looking to me. I'm trying to find, as I said, I have some pivots. So there are a number of guys here. You listed off a number of dudes, but the main one that I took away, Devontae Booker, I love, and I know that he's chalky. I do not mind whatsoever. But getting down here to the bottom end, Aaron Jones. Let's just have this discussion before we go anywhere else. $30 for him. And I know he's expensive, and this isn't like the mid-range play or anything, but sub 5% for Aaron Jones in a game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Has anybody else watched the same Kansas City Chiefs that I have for the last however many weeks, where they just can't stop a team from doing anything? Now,
no Aaron Rodgers, though.
No Aaron Rodgers. I'm very aware.
I just mean, is that good or bad for Aaron Jones in this situation?
I think it's probably bad. I mean, I can't imagine having a worse quarterback out there. I mean, unless it was somebody who was like super rush heavy, and maybe Jordan Love can be the guy who's creating a lot of stuff with his legs. But I mean, this is probably bad as an offense to have the guy that is responsible for helping you put points on the board, and then you're just not going to be in the red zone as much. I would assume that that's bad, but that's just me. I think Aaron Jones has to be considered a sub 5% as one of the better tournament plays on the slate here. But yeah, Devontae Booker right now, 4.8% is what we have here on Yahoo. I expect that to go way up. He's a gigantic projection that we have. And if he's going to be low owned, I mean, God, at $15, he's the absolute steal of the entire day. But Aaron Jones, the pivot on the top end for me. Devontae Booker, my favorite on the bottom end. And then the pivot right around that, Devin Singletary against Jacksonville. I don't really want to deal with this entire team, Zach Moss and him, but you have to kind of be considering it a little bit in a game where they're 15-point road favorites, and you're going to be taking another weapon. He kind of falls into that grouping where if you get Cole Beasley ruled out, I upgrade even a guy like Devin Singletary, who I think could see some more passing volume at $14. He's not a great play. He's not going to pan out a ton, but I can guarantee you he's going to be around 1%. And for me, that makes him one of the more intriguing tournament targets. If they get it going early in that game, Devin Singletary could see some surprising pass volume. So I just want to throw it out there. You have to kind of look at the whole, entire offense as a whole. No Dawson Knox, no Cole Beasley. That opens up touches.
Let's go to the wide receivers then. And again, if anybody has any questions along the way, shout them out. Please do. We remind you, give us a like, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when great Awesemo shows go live. And there are a lot that come with you over the course of every day, 7 days a week for that matter. You got DFS offers, giveaways, so much more. Again, once you hit that subscribe button, notifications will come your way, alerts on your phone or wherever you get them, obviously. Be sure to check out today's free premium tools and data, which are for week 9, the NFL ownership projections. They're available to you. NBA ownership projections for tonight, UFC pro plays. If you're playing NBA DFS tonight, you need to check out the other Adam, Bearded Adam Shearer's NBA Deep Dive, which is the most in-depth free NBA DFS article available to anyone. I read it. I love it. I use it. I would subscribe to it if I didn't get it for free. So make sure you check it out. There's a lot of great information in there. Again, wide receivers, let's go there. So you have got Deebo Samuel. Deebo, don't call me Curtis Samuel against Arizona. 16 projected points at the top of the heap among the wideouts here. He's $31. And then Tyreek Hill, you were talking about obviously Kansas City and Green Bay, 15.5 projected points. He's $30. And then, man, here's where we come back to that Aaron Rodgers fiasco again, the fact that he's not playing and it's Jordan Love instead. Devontae Adams, he is projected for similar to Hill, 15.5 points, but $38, damn near $40. Is he worth it? Could you justify paying up for him without Aaron?
Sub 10%, you can justify playing a top 3 wide receiver regardless of anything. Yeah, I find wide receiver to be very fascinating. Here is where I'm going to be taking a lot of my different stance. Tyreek Hill at $30 is drastically too cheap. Like, there's really no doubt about it. Deebo Samuel in the recency department continues to burn me, but I think I kind of have to be there as well. However, after that, Devontae Adams coming in sub 10%, Jamar Chase coming in 6.6%. I mean, the Cleveland Browns, I think, are getting the benefit of the doubt. They're not a very good football team. We've seen some shootouts that they've had with the Chargers. Defensively, they can get after the quarterback, no doubt about it, but they can also surrender a lot over the top. They can be susceptible against the run. There's a lot of issues that they have. I think that looking at this entire team, this entire passing attack from Cincinnati, we know that they're going to get a lot going offensively more times than they're not. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, that entire section of wide receivers, all sub 10%. They've been extremely chalky the last couple of weeks. And for some reason, everybody just kind of decided we're not going to play T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd anymore either. Both of them under 10%. I think that that's fascinating on just an 11-game slate where I think they're in a better spot than what the public sentiment is around them. So I'm looking at that Cincinnati team as one that I really want to be invested in. I do think that on Yahoo, it's the least appealing spot for me to want to go get Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. I would much rather side with my boys Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. I alluded to Kirk Cousins in this spot against Baltimore. I think there's very clear run backs in Mark Andrews, in Hollywood Brown. I think that there are opportunities that are going to present themselves for that game to shoot out above expectation. And so I'm going to be going with those kind of guys at wide receiver, and both of them right around 10%. I think that that's just fine when you're pairing them with a 1% owned quarterback like Kirk Cousins, reduces the entire rostership of it. But we're talking about a wide receiver position that's far more flat than the running back position on Yahoo. And that just makes it exceptional because you can make so many tournament cases. I expect Jalen Waddle to see his ownership just climb in the aftermath of this Devontae Parker news, where he's going to be doubtful here for Sunday. Probably not going to give it a go after looking great last week. Pretty much him and Mike Gesicki against Houston. So straightforward, so obvious, pretty hard to overlook.
As we look at some of the value opportunities available to you at wide receiver, this guy's at the top, feels like every single week. Jacoby Myers, about 8.5x. He is projected for 11 points against Carolina coming up this weekend. Devontae Smith for Philadelphia, the rookie, about 10 projected points, but he is almost 8x on the return. And then Tyler Boyd, about 7.9x as well. He's got Cleveland there for Cincinnati. So of this trio, who stands out to you?
So I talked about Tyler Boyd. I really like him in this spot. I think just too low of a tag. He'll be this week's Jacoby Myers for me, which I don't even want to talk about Jacoby Myers. It'll just tilt me to no end. Eventually he's going to score. I believe
he's going to score that touchdown. It's going to happen. Don't you worry.
At least they changed it. $13
2025.
What was that?
So the year was 2025.
Yeah, there you are. Oh, I remember it when.
Back when we used to walk to football games uphill both ways in the snow.
In the snow. It was great. Devonta Smith. $12 for Devonta Smith. I think he's going to be even more popular than that, especially seeing that who else do you want to pair? Who else do you want to be pairing? Why am I blanking right now? Jalen Hurts. Who else do you want to be pairing him with other than Devonta Smith? Dallas Goedert. I don't want to be going to a ton of the super popular Dallas Goedert route. I mean, I think that if you're going to be going to anybody here, Devonta Smith makes a lot of sense. Jacoby Myers, I swear to God, if this is the week he goes off and just burns me, I'm going to freak out. But Tyler Boyd, $13. He's definitely my priority at that exact same number over Jacoby Myers. Hunter Renfrow is the conversation I want to have to kind of finish it out. 5.2%. I'm shocked that that's his number on, Schmings. He's going to be extremely popular at that number, sub 5K. I think we got to be talking about him at $17. He makes a lot of sense if that rostership is going to be that low. I doubt that it is. Whatever you want to talk about the Henry Ruggs situation is extremely sad for everybody involved. It's terrible. It's been a bad year to be a Raiders fan, but we've got to talk DFS. And for that, I don't know who else is going to receive more volume other than him. I think Edwards. So Brian Edwards becomes kind of an interesting talking point a little bit as well. 2.8% for him right now at $13. Him and Hunter Renfrow just jump off the page for me. And I think one is going to get a lot of steam, Hunter Renfrow, and I think one isn't. So I'm going to be going to a little bit of both, but more so in tournaments. I'll try to make Brian Edwards a thing at that $13 tag.
Producer Tyler wrote in the chat that the lineman from the Colts has more touchdowns than Jacoby Myers. So that naturally,
unnecessary and uncalled for.
Well, I did what any rational person would do. I looked to see if I could put him in timeout, but because he has a wrench, I can't do it. I guess I could report him to Yahoo, but I mean, that seems just, there's like a middle ground I was looking for there. That's a little too extreme. And unfortunately, the putting him in timeout thing, it's not available to me.
I can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
I see Steve Smith in the chat. I could put Steve Smith in the chat just to send a message to Tyler through him, but that would seem unfair to Steve. He hasn't done osmosis. Wrong.
It's fine. Yeah, but who would like to take the timeout bullet for? Who should we do? This is like in wind sprints that everybody else has to run because one of the other players was screwing up. That's what this is.
Yeah, who wants to own Tyler's gaff in the chat?
I'm going to decide. This is fun. This is a fun show. We're having fun. Any McNichols love. Greg SJ, he's my boy. I can't do it to him. Who wants to do this? God, I can't do that to him. Steven Smith, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Staring at my heart.
There it is. Okay.
That's what he wanted. I think that's what he wanted. So because of that, we're going to put him in timeout. Timeout time.
Steve, I'll take it. Here, Steve, different Steve. Our man Steve, poor Steve Smith, just waited time out for 5 minutes.
This is actually no, these are the sins of Tyler. These are the sins of Tyler, producer Ty.
I'm sorry, Steve, for even I feel like I spoke that into existence, and that makes me a bad person.
So I guess it's on you too, but also
that's Steve S. So our friend Steve L. Throwing out a buy stream trash for Tyler Boyd, Jacoby Myers, and Russell Gage, all $13 on Yahoo. Normally we do this with movies, with things in life, with TV shows. Buy stream trash is, would exactly as it sounds. Would you buy it, own it forever? Would you watch it but the one time? Or would you pretend it never existed? And now obviously we translate that to football players, although maybe
love this game.
Maybe more appropriate here to this game and to the format that we're talking about. It'd be like, Captain Flex Fade, or in the case of Yahoo, Superstar Utility Fade. Maybe you want to rank them that way. You could look at it that way. I know we're talking about a main slate, not a single game showdown, but nevertheless,
Tyler Boyd, over under fade. Myers. Over under fades. We're going to go over on them. We're going to go under on them, or we're going to fade them.
Okay. Tyler Boyd, Jacoby Myers, Russell Gage. How would you rank these three gentlemen?
We're going to go under Jacoby Myers. We're going to go over on Tyler Boyd. Who is the last one?
It was Myers, it was Boyd, Russell Gage.
All right. Russell Gage, fade.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. Have a nice day. Drive home safely.
I'm going to go over on Myers. I'm going to go under on Boyd, and I will also fade Gage.
I wanted to make Russell Gage a thing. My best ball teams, he is a skeleton. He's bony. There's nothing there. There's no meat on the bone. Nothing. Thanks, Russell Gage. Great times. Really enjoyed having you here. You're really fun at parties. Idiot.
Let's go to the tight ends. How about Darren Waller at $23, projected for about 13.5 points against the Giants? Kyle Pitts. Watch out, folks. Took a little while, but Kyle Pitts has become a thing. He's got the Saints, obviously, 12.5 projected points, $21. And of course, Travis Kelce. You don't expect him to be third, but he is. $29 against Green Bay, 12 points. I just hope that game is a shootout the way we're talking about Green Bay and Kansas City right now. Give us something entertaining. But these three guys, who are you drawn to?
God, Darren Waller, if he can't do it here with, him being the focal point, he's just never going to really be doing it here this season against the Giants. In previous seasons, and I still think underneath Judge a little bit, I mean, they are a tight end funnel. They should be able to get a lot done at this position. This might be one of the strange weeks where I think looking at tight end, I might be able to roster two of them just to get a little bit different. I think there's so much upside with Waller, Pitts, and Kelsey. And generally the reason that you're not going to play two tight ends is that there's not enough upside at the position. And it's either one guy goes off or you're not going to need them because there's so many wide receivers and so many running backs who can go off in a given week. But Kyle Pitts is in such a buy low spot after two fantastic outings against the Jets in Miami. Matt Ryan overthrew him on about 3 sideline throws where he was just wide open, completely wide open. 6 targets, 2 receptions. I'm going to say that wasn't all Kyle Pitts' fault. He was just fine out there. New Orleans is a really, really tough matchup, and that's why you're seeing that depress. Only a 17.75 Vegas implied total, but I don't mind getting to a little bit of Pitts here. And then Kelsey, 7.4%. You want to talk buy low. I mean, Darren Waller obviously is the chalk of the position. I think in cash, he's the guy that it's him or this other guy we'll talk about from the Denver Broncos here in a second. But Travis Kelsey, $29. My God, what a tournament play to get underneath 10%. The game environment is still pretty decent above expectation. So I'm happy to be going that direction.
You mentioned Denver. Would you like to build on that a little bit with, of course, Noah Fant out?
I was hoping you were going to say his name, so I didn't have to.
Well, listen, I'm happy
Albert
Aquibunum.
Aquibunum.
I don't know.
Alberto is what everybody calls him in the chat.
Yeah,
Albert
Aloe. He's your top value player and also will protect burns against your skin. Aloe.
Wow, that was
right.
That felt good on the. That was nice. That's a point. Yeah. So if we're keeping track at home,
Tyler likes it. Tyler was in shock.
Yep, that was one in the. I'm just impressed. I'm not even mad. You ate the whole wheel of cheese. That's great. I like
not even mad.
I like this Albert O character very much here this week. He's jumping in our projections. He's $10. He's completely at the min. For me, it's like you're playing Waller, you're playing him. Those are the two guys in cash. Tommy Sweeney, I guess you could make I know you're not. You're going to just punt all the way down to $10 with no Noah Fant out there. Even, 3 targets, 3 receptions, 34 yards like last week in Noah Fant's stead. Like that makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm going to be going his direction. You guys can join me. He'll be way more popular than 2.6% we're projecting him for right now, but he just stands out at the position for me as well. And now Mike Gesicki back into the conversation at $22. My other tight end play that I really, really like, Devontae Parker, sounds like he's not going to be giving it a go, y'all. So buckle up. Jalen Waddle and him once again against a terrible, porous Houston defense. Tyrod Taylor being there definitely, I think, helps the shootout potential of this game as well. So a little bit above expectation. I'm looking at those two.
So third on our list in terms of value then. Guy who's regularly in the passing game now, not to be taken lightly, and a value of about 6x projected. Dalton Schultz. You not in on Dalton Schultz this weekend?
I kind of forgot about Dalton Schultz, and this is what happens when, you
don't forget about Dre. I mean, Dalton.
Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when you move the lips. Just a bunch of gibberish. The fuck up with that. Forgot about Dre. There you go.
Wow, you even gave us the little radio edit there. That was good.
Thank you. I had to bleep it a little bit there. You kind of just go, you just do the quick thing there. But yes, we got him. Yeah, that's going to be just fine. Dalton Schultz is a great call. I think he's kind of just, if you're looking for $16, it's kind of a middle ground for the tight end at the number that Noah Fant was at. He's not playing, so don't roster him. Dalton Schultz against Denver. We're looking at the top stacks tool again. For me, it's just kind of what can I get from the entire stack? And right now, only a 3.3% quarterback ownership. We're going to see a lot. And I mean, a lot of Elliott ownership around the entire industry. That's probably the one guy that I'm not as high on. I understand it. 70% plus of the snaps now the last 2 weeks. Tony Pollard hasn't been as much of a thing here. And so maybe finding some of these other pieces. The top stacks tool is just in love with Dallas. 6.1% of leverage you can get there. 9.4% top stack potential on Yahoo. So Dalton Schultz does make a nice piece with Dak Prescott. So I do like that call.
As we make the move to some of the DSTs, and then we'll circle on back any questions that you guys have. Happy to hit them in the 10 minutes we've got left here. But, some of us, I know this doesn't apply to the main slate, but some of us, Eric, were considering the fates of their Yahoo season-long teams. Had Tampa Bay on the bye, made a move in a couple different leagues to pick up the Colts DST, said, hey, this looks like a good streaming option. Not when you hate money. Not when you hate money.
No,
Tough.
I'm sorry.
Tough.
It's a tough scene over there, Adam Kaufman.
Yeah, I think he got like 4 or 5 points. The Colts DST, not great, not great, but trickling past, ignoring another team in prime time, the Steelers, who are at the top here, projected for about 10 points. The Bills, we talk about them all the time. The Buffalo Bills, about 9 projected points. They've got obviously Jacksonville, Saints at 8 against Atlanta. The Patriots, my beloved Patriots, almost 8 against Carolina, and Cowboys and Rams all in that same vicinity as well. Anyone stand out to you in particular?
So I love watching this. This is one of my favorite columns to look at in Fantasy Cruncher because it's just a progression of the Vegas points total. And you can kind of track it all the way down until you see a little bit of a discrepancy. And you know where there's a huge discrepancy? The Kansas City Chiefs. And I think that that's going to be really, really cashy. I think going to them over San Francisco at $10, which is right now garnering the most at 19.1%, that's kind of surprising to me. I get it. Kyler Murray might not play. We haven't talked about him. He's not a very good play on this slate anyway. He also hasn't exceeded 40 rushing yards in a game this entire season. So 49ers at $10. I get why they're getting a lot of rostership there, but I would much rather go to the Chiefs at $11. Embrace some of that in cash. For tournaments, we get to open it up a little bit. Bills, $22. That's a huge overpay on Yahoo. I don't like to pay up for defense very often, but when I do, it's generally against Jacksonville or somebody of that nature. That makes a lot of sense to me. So no problem with that. My favorite tournament defense for the entire week. And again, this is just in tournaments. If you're looking for one guy, you just generally play whatever defense fits there. It's a very highly variant position. But if I'm going to be in Fantasy Cruncher and I'm trying to click on something to make it happen, I'm going to be clicking on the Denver Broncos against Dallas. And I know that this sounds nuts. So Von Miller is now gone there. It's completely gone, but it's in Mile High Stadium, $14. Dak Prescott. They're going to try to establish the run. If we don't even know. Dak, I think, is going to be good to go here. We don't know what that foot looks like. We don't know how the entire situation is going to be playing out for him here. I just am willing to embrace the public sentiment that Denver's given up. They're 4-4. Their defense is still not terrible. And right now they're 0.1%. We have no rostership going their direction. They're a little bit above that $10, $11, $12 range, but they're not close to that $20 range. I'm just saying, I'm kind of seeing this. Dallas is a team that everybody's in love with. Everybody thinks Dallas is just, jumping to the top of the NFC, that they're going to make a push for number one here now that Aaron Rodgers is going to be out. But pause. Hold on, friends. We should be rostering a little bit of Denver Broncos defense.
Hold on, friends.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That was very Midwest of me. It was ridiculous.
Okay. I'm fine with it. Works for me. All right, some of the
Is
value.
Steven Smith
then.
Back. I'm super paranoid now. I hope he didn't just leave after timing him out. This was Tyler's fault.
Yeah, if you'd behaved yourself, Tyler, Steve wouldn't have had to die for your sins.
He keeps trying to talk, but we fortunately don't have to listen to him. It's great.
Until after the show when he's unmuted. So Niners coming in at 7x value, the minimum $10. They're the top value option for you. Very chalky too. Looking at the optimal lineups and such, he's the Niners DST projected for about 20% ownership on Sunday as things stand right now. Chiefs and Steelers right behind them, Browns as well. Do you believe that the Niners are going to meet expectations here?
No, I don't like that number. I will not play them at that number. 19% is a gigantic number against Arizona. In cash, if in the event that Kyler Murray doesn't play, he hasn't practiced all week here, didn't practice again today. In the event that that's the case, yeah, you can probably fire up some 49ers, but I'm probably more inclined to just play the Chiefs at $11, even, have a little bit of tournament exposure. I won't get close to 18%, I can tell you that, but in cash, $11 Chiefs, I think is still the priority between the two. If you absolutely need that dollar, if you need it, sure, go ahead, but I'd prefer the Chiefs still drastically. Embrace some of the unknowns. And sure, the skill position players are still out there. Quarterback, pretty important position. We don't know what to expect with Jordan Love. I would just kind of embrace that unknown a little bit. Obviously, he's not going to be Aaron Rodgers, but he could also be serviceable, and you never know. But $11 for the Chiefs. It's a defense that I'm just going to want to be shorting constantly, but not in this spot. Happy to be taking them just in cash.
Some of the real chalky guys, Eric, that show up in the optimal lineup right now. Again, the Niners DST. You've got Austin Eckler at about 32% of lineups, the rostership. Darren Waller, 29%, Ezekiel Elliott, 26%. You do have some less popular, lesser owned guys that are, more differentiation plays, obviously, and sort of throwing darts to some degree. Like we talked about Devontae Booker. He's, I think, projected for 4 or 5% rostership. He is in there, but those studs, the chalky studs, again, Zeke, Waller, Eckler, which of them is most likely to bust this weekend?
Everywhere you look. Everywhere.
Nope, you gave us that one.
I did? I gave you a portion of it. It's fine. I
haven't heard you break out the perfect strangers.
Darren Waller. Oh, okay. Well, we can maybe work on that. But yeah, no, I think Darren Waller at that number, he's going to be very, very popular, and that could be problematic. I would say he's the most likely simply because we haven't seen it yet out of him in a while, and he's still going to garner a ton of rostership. And, without Ruggs there, that could be a spot where we could be finding a lot of Darren Waller exposure, and it's just fine. But I'd say he's probably, because of where he's at rostership wise, the riskiest by far.
It's unbelievable, Tyler. You know what? Tyler just writes, sorry, I was wrong. The Colts lineman has more receiving touchdowns than Jacoby Myers over the last 3 years. All right. Well, Steve L wanted to die for your sins. Steve, I love you, but you're going in timeout.
Now, this is a story about how he got his life turned upside down.
Wow. All right, little Fresh Prince. I like it.
I don't know. That was a Bikram yoga stretch, but I tried. It seemed like it could happen.
Goodness gracious, Tyler. It's hurtful. It's what it is. Coming in hot. Reactionary. Thinking about crying. Okay.
What happened? What am I missing here? What is going on between this?
Tyler's
I feel like I need to be more involved.
Really coming at you, Jacoby Myers.
Oh, well, also
he's strong in this one.
Well, if Jacoby Myers could actually pay off any of my investment on him over the last, 2 years, that'd be great.
Literally any of them. Who is
any
your
of them, period? He's a great quarterback. How about that? He's thrown some touchdowns.
Great QB. Hey, he scored a 2-point conversion last week there, Tyler. How many 2-point conversions does your offensive lineman have?
It was like a little tease. It was like a little ooh, you can't get here to the end zone.
Well, we just wanted to see if there was some force field around the end zone that he could actually walk in and not get hurt.
Possible.
Definitely
possible.
Turns out. All right. Do you have a one singular favorite play this weekend before we go?
All right. Just to kind of round it out, I've got a number of them. You asked me the one week who I thought the Millie guy would be, and it was Cortland Sutton, and Cortland Sutton went absolutely nuts. And I've alluded to this a little bit here, but this Minnesota-Baltimore game, I'm actually a little bit more intrigued than the average person eventually here. The average bear for sure. Berenstein Bears reference. We're going to avoid that one. But Justin Jefferson, $25 for him in this spot. I'm not a homer. I don't blame my Minnesota Vikings the way that most people do. And, you might have a stack of your team every week. I'm not that guy. I'm interested in money. But I have to say, coming off a week where he only had 4 targets, 2 receptions against Dallas, kind of got eaten up by Diggs. I think he goes out and makes a monster statement against Baltimore here. Justin Jefferson at the exact same number as Adam Thielen. I guess $1 more for Thielen. I know Thielen has been the guy who's known to get the red zone touches, 6 receiving touchdowns now on the season to Justin Jefferson's 3. But I think Justin Jefferson has a field day against Baltimore. I'm looking at him as being a guy that I want to be very heavily invested in around the entire industry. And at 10% rostership that we have for him right now, he is my favorite wide receiver play on the board.
Wants to be very heavily invested. They're going to get an apartment together. It's another one. Anchorman for you.
Loved it.
Can't believe you shouted out Berenstein Bears. It's talking about Yogi, man.
Yogi. What do you want from me? There you go. I did
Next, in 5 minutes, you have Prize Picks, college football, Vanek, Maddie, Gajeski coming at you. 4:45 to 6 NBA Deeper Dive. It'll be Laffy and Bearded Adam at 6:30 to 7:30 NBA Live Before Lock. You're coming on back with Aaron Berg, my 2 favorite co-hosts. I have to say that contractually because I work with you 2.
You're only 2 co-hosts.
Exactly. RIP Josh, who I worked with throughout much of last year during the NBA season. Maybe I will see you again here in these Awesemo virtual hallways at some point. I mean, soon enough, Jordan's going to be dead to me too. Tyler produces all of my shows, but it's great to be here. Thanks to Tyler, even though he was a little bit of a jerk today talking about Jacoby Myers. Thanks to all of you. We apologize if you had to serve a timeout because of Tyler's sins, and thank you for being hip to all things 90s TV references. That's what we do here. Evidently on a Friday, Eric and I. Every week has a little bit of a different theme. He's Eric. I'm Adam. He'll talk to you again later. I've got you on, I don't know, Wednesday. See you then. Enjoy the weekend.